We're flying in the middle of an exercise. We took off, no issues, went over to the range, on the other side of the Great Salt Lake. And I was looking over my shoulder, looking for my wingman. And I felt a very impressive bang coming from the jet. It was hard enough, it knocked my feet off the rudder pedals and smashed my head up against the HUD.
Warning, warning. Warning, warning.
My initial reaction was that I hit something, so I thought I just had a midair with somebody. I knew it wasn't my wingman, but I didn't know what else it could be. At the moment, to me, all I knew was huge bang, compressor stall, and I look back forward, and my RPM on the engine is just sliding down to 0. So called to knock it off with my wingman, got him eyes back onto where I was, tried a couple restarts, which obviously wasn't going to happen with the engine completely shelled out. So I took the jet as far as I could glide it, slowed it down as much as I could, and then pulled the handle and ejected. It ended up in a fireball that was certainly bigger than the 2,000-pound bombs that we dropped. It was a massive explosion out there when all the fuel went off.
Every year, aircraft incidents in the Air Force are linked to mechanical failure, improper adherence to maintenance standards, or faulty production methods. Each incident puts lives at risk, wastes millions in taxpayer dollars, and threatens the United States' hold on air superiority. Your work at the 309th Commodity Maintenance Group plays a critical role in the success of aircraft performance and U.S. Air Force operations as a whole. Each member is important to the team, just as each part is an important function of the aircraft as a whole. When one fails, the rest can suffer catastrophic failure. What you do and the degree of precision in which you do it affects lives and U.S. military capabilities.
It's just a very humbling thought to have when so much of what's going on lies on your shoulders, but you're so dependent on so many other people to make that happen. We can't afford to not be good at what we do. You have to make sure you are excellent in fixing the aircraft or building a certain part that's going to go on that aircraft. For me to be able to do my job effectively, to concentrate on the things that I need to concentrate on and give the mental capacity to all those different things, whether it's flying or navigating or dropping bombs, I have to free my mind of worry.
One of the 3 Air Force core values emphasizes the importance of achieving excellence in all we do. Your attention to detail is critical at every step of the aircraft maintenance process. When dealing with systems as complex as military aviation, even the smallest imperfection can have the greatest impact on performance.
What happened was there was a manufacturing defect in the first stage fan blade. There was a 1/2 inch by 1/4 inch of one of the corners had a fold in the casting process that created a weakness. That blade had been in that engine for about 800 hours of flying, and it finally got to the point where it let go. So that was enough of a defect that the rest of the blade sheared through. So this entire titanium piece weighs about, I don't know, only about 2 pounds or so for a good-sized chunk of metal. It goes through the engine, destroys all the blades behind it and everything else, starts a titanium fire. Miss an inspection, something as small as a tiny, tiny 1/4 inch by a 1/2 inch defect in a fan blade, and you've got a $24 million aircraft in the dirt, and hopefully nobody hurt. The key message here is consequences. So everything you do every day matters. There are severe consequences of the job not being done right, and it's tough to see when it's just one part and you see this one piece of, I don't know, a couple 100,000, maybe 1 million that go into an F-16, but every one of those has to function properly or they can be pretty drastic consequences. And in my case, it was about the most drastic you can get, right, having to eject from an airplane. Every piece that goes on that jet has to be 100% in tolerance right where it needs to be. There are so many components, and every one of them has major consequences. You might not even cause a crash of an airplane and still cause major consequences. If we have a fuel leak or an oil leak, we're supposed to jettison our stores and get rid of that stuff so we can get the jet back as quick as we can. Well, if you jettison stores, now you've got 4,000 pounds of gas coming off the wing tanks plus 4,000 pounds of bombs coming off if that's what you're carrying, and again, that's going somewhere on the ground, right? So there's consequences to every little thing that goes on that airplane if it's not done right.
As an employee of the 309th Commodity Maintenance Group, it is imperative that you remember each day how critical of a role you play in the success of our operations. If you notice a problem, no matter how small, stop and take appropriate actions. Even if it means delaying a process or slowing production goals, we must maintain precision over all else. You are a critical part of this operation. Just as a pilot prepares himself for work by ensuring adequate sleep and mental awareness, you must prepare yourself each day to perform this job.
If you're having a day where you feel that you can't do your job the way that it needs to be done, then it's not a day to go to work, right? So either you call in sick if you need to call in sick, you take a break, you do whatever it is that you need to do to ensure that you have the job done correctly. Not getting it done in time is better than doing it wrong, period.
The U.S. Air Force maintains air superiority in a complex theater of operations. This ability helps ensure the freedoms of all citizens of the United States. You are a critical part of the success we achieve. We are relying on you as much as the warfighter in the field. Do your part by paying attention to details and making it your daily motto to achieve excellence in all that you do. Our fighters and their families trust their lives to the quality of your work.